So Bitcoin price just ditched a 3-month downtrend as a key shift begins. So we see a classic US dip as the dollar gains. So if we go back over here to the, let me get my own photo out of the way here. If we go to the Dixie chart, you can see that since March 18th, we had a rally in the dollar index. So if we go back, there we go. Bitcoin had dipped right as the dollar gained because they move inverse. So you can see here, we had this big dip right here on this timeline. Boom, drop down right as we got this increase over here in the dollar index. So Bitcoin copied the US stocks lack of momentum with the S&P 500 and composite both heading lower at the open. Now, granted, this was a day ago, so we had a little bit of a pullback yesterday. Daily chart breakout joins Bitcoin bullish price hints. So after 3 months, Bitcoin had escaped the downtrend, marking the latest in a series of recent reversal cues. Quote, Bitcoin has just broken out of a 3-month descending channel, signaling a key shift in market structure. So check this out. We've been in this downward trending slope, and we're finally starting to move out of that. So hopefully we follow this pattern up here, we get out of the slope, and then we start moving upwards. So let's continue on. Bitcoin sellers, however, lurk from 88 to 90. If you remember, if we go back to Bitcoin, there was the thing, right, where let's call this, actually this 91 level's a bit off. Let's say it's 90-ish. Everybody was concerned. Let's keep 90 grand, right? Right about there. So we come up here, resistance. We finally broke above it. Support, boom, support, boom, close to it, support, broke down underneath it. So this 90K level is important because this whole time from November all the way through February, it was like, well, as long as we hold 90, we're all set. We're all set, no problem. And then we smashed right down through it. So really, in my opinion, it'd be great to get us first back up above 85, which we are right now, and then to break above that 20-week, and then finally get above that 90, and then I'll feel a hell of a lot better about that. So let's continue on here. Where am I? There we go. So there's been some people stepping in to sell. So on one hand, whales have been accumulating. However, from this, whale position sentiment metric exhibited a sharp reversal in the chart, indicating that major players with a bearish bias have stepped in. The metric defines a relationship between the aggregated open interest in trades larger than 1 million across multiple exchanges. So it seems like some of the whales have gotten bearish. So when the whale position sentiment starts to decline, even if the price temporarily rises, it's a strong signal that whales are entering short positions, which may lead to a price drop. So you can see that all of these have gone red. That was back in, I guess that's right about now. I'm not sure. This chart's kind of screwy there. Anyway, last week, CEO of Crypto Quant noted that markets were entering a bear market, and investors should expect 6 to 12 months of bearish or sideways price action. I don't think so, frankly. I think that we need to go into a full-blown, full-on trade war. No exceptions, 25% tariffs across the board. Inflation needs to get out of control, all that stuff. And I just don't think that's going to happen. Bitcoin outflows reached 424 million in 7 days, while on-chain metrics turned red. Some investors exhibited confidence in Bitcoin data. The block highlighted a Bitcoin net outflow of 220 million from exchanges past 24 hours. So basically, these are people buying the dip and then sending it out to their cold storage wallet. That usually doesn't indicate selling behavior. So while whales possibly shorting between 88 and 90,000, again, short-term moves, Bitcoin needs to close above 90 to continue the rally up to 100. I think it was Scott Bessent. Was it Scott Bessent? Or maybe it was Bo, whatever his name is. I think it was Bo, the guy who's now in charge of like the digital asset stockpile for the US government. He said, I think people are really discounting the Bitcoin strategic reserve. He said, I think that we're going to end up looking back at like 200,000, 230,000 Bitcoin and saying like, God, remember when it was at like 80,000 and people were just thinking that it was no big deal? I'm going to skip this because this is a long article on how tariffs, basically this article, maybe I'll share this if you guys want. I'm going to put this in the chat. This is an interesting read. It's just probably a bit too long to cover here. It's like a step-by-step timeline. There we go. Just shared it in the chat. It's a step-by-step timeline on how Trump has kind of dropped the market by doing all this tariff craziness.